The Toronto Maple Leafs just sent a serious message as they take down their former head coach, Sheldon Keefe, in their first game since his firing. We had tons of players shine tonight. Bobby McMahon got on the board, Max Pacioretty, but one player stood above the rest. And this Maple Leafs team, not only did they get a win, which is obviously very important, they looked very different under their second game under Craig Berube. So to break down what that means going forward for the team, as well as just discuss what a massive win this was this early into the season on the second night of a back-to-back. So welcome in everybody to the stream. Again, this is a post-game. The Leafs just took down the New Jersey Devils, Sheldon Keefe. And ultimately, Darius, there's so much to take from this game. We're going to dive all into it all here. But what an exciting and calming win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nothing too stressful. And Dennis Hildeby made his debut. And a very good game for him as well. But a very good game overall for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Considering how these games go usually for the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of like playing former coaches or former players, there was no stress in this game at all. Like it started off great. It ended great. And obviously, the second goal, we can get into the game and the nitty gritty of it. But, there was no stress for me. I didn't feel stressed at all. And this was a great win. And obviously take some pressure off the nerves I think Leafs Nation was feeling after last night's loss, even though I thought they played pretty good last night. And we can get into that game too, actually dissect it with everyone in the chat tonight. But it was a great game, right? And lots to like, so much to like. And I think this new play style is so welcome from the fan base. So I'm very excited. I love the way they played tonight. And I think this is exactly how they're going to play going forward, because this is how they played last night. There was just a couple wrinkles that they had to get, out and ready for tonight. And they did that. And you know what? They kept pressing. They kept pressing the whole time. And it was the second half of a back-to-back. I think that's good. That's welcome change. But one thing I think that everyone is going to agree with here is the top six is hot garbage right now. And that has to change. Something has to change with that. But bottom six is rolling, and the team and the play style in general, defense too, everyone looks pretty good. And Hildeby, first career win in his first career game, feels good tonight.
Yeah, what's up, Jose, Tim, Shane, Jamie, Dale, Joe, Devin, everybody tuning in again. You mentioned
What's going on, everyone?
Wasn't a great game again from the top six. Austin Matthews has yet to score a goal, but what did happen, and we're going to dive into the entirety of the game. Me and Darius both have our Blazer suits on here for the occasion. Every Leafs win, we're going to have something. I also have something for you guys as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. But I mean, okay, we'll also dissect later on the stream yesterday's games. We didn't get to do a full analysis on it, but what a game this was. And again, I'll pop up the box score and we can dive into that. But I mean, you talk about, first of all, I'm going to give, and on my jersey, I'm going to order it tonight. Max Pacioretty is an absolute animal out there. And I was his biggest defender of last game, even though he didn't have a great game. I'm taking this off, it's annoying me. But Max Pacioretty started off the game, and honestly, it was the first goal of the game, first goal of the Leafs season. How poetic was it that Max Pacioretty got the first goal of the Leafs season? That is what we needed. And ultimately, so many other players. There's so much to discuss here. But quite frankly, everybody, Steven Lorentz is the correct pronunciation. Phenomenal game.
No,
Max Pacioretty, phenomenal game. Bobby McMahon got on the board. We're going to have a whole little segment dedicated to Dennis Hildeby, who a very, very solid NHL debut. But I don't know where to start there. So I guess we can start with Max Pacioretty. I called it. I'm the biggest Max Pacioretty fan there is. His jersey is going to be ordered here. And I said it in yesterday's game, or in the stream. He was one of the only players on the ice who generated high danger chances. Tonight, he was a part of that again. He was battling in front of the net, and he got a very good goal. And man, I'm all aboard the Max Pacioretty train, even though he looked a tad slow, and he only played 10 minutes.
Yeah, he looked a bit dangerous last night. I can agree with you on that in terms of high danger chances, but he looked a bit slow last night. Tonight, not the case, but he kind of did go away after he scored, like after the next couple shifts. You didn't really notice him as much, but...
Hold on. We have Mo. Mo, thank you, becoming a Magic member. Now, Mo, if you're unfamiliar with Mo, I'm just going to shout this out in here. He has been a long-time huge supporter of Jays Digest, the Toronto Blue Jays one. Huge supporter, one of the biggest supporters there is. Mo, I'm so glad you're in here. I hope you're doing very, very well. I'm going to go back in here for a second and give you the animation, but Mo, I'm so glad you're in here, and I hope you're doing well. And I know we've been in touch a little bit. The Jays had a horrible season, but thank you so much for that, Mo, for the shout out to you, and I'm glad you were able to tune in here.
Thank you, Mo, and there's your super chat.
There we
Love
go.
the animation. Super Matthews, not so much this season so far, but we'll get into that later.
Might have to make a Lorentz animation incoming.
Might have to make a Lorentz Superman animation.
What's up, Landshark?
What's up, Landshark? Nice to see you as well.
Mo
Oh,
with the 20. He's back. Mo is back. Mo, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. Hold on. I got to find it again. He said for a cup. Now, Mo, I will ask you this. I know you're a Leafs fan as well to a degree here. Do you think this is the year for the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the cup? I got to get more organized with my animations. I'm looking forward for you, Mo. Do you think it is the year? Here it is. We're going to have to get a Lorentz animation. He said for the cup. Huge shout out to Mo again. Huge supporter. He's been a supporter of everybody for a while. So thank you so much, Mo. I'm glad you're tuning into the Leafs Digest stream. We're going to be going live after as many games as we can. It's going to be an electric season, and I'm on here every day. So thank you so much, Mo. I'm very glad I got to see you. What's up, Marshall? What's up, Joe?
Hey, Marshall.
Going on here.
So back to Pacioretty. Yeah, back to Pacioretty.
Thank you, Mo.
Again, he kind of went away, but that third line was fantastic tonight. Fantastic. They cannot break that third line up. They were awesome. Pacioretty generating chances. Robertson looks fantastic, like all over the ice, not just offensively. He looks fantastic. He's fighting for pucks. He's being physical. That the two of them together, the chemistry that we saw in the preseason has carried over to the regular season. And Holmberg, he's just steady as they go. And I've always loved Holmberg, and he looks great on that third line, so they can't break that up. But who else were we going to talk about? Steven Lorentz, right? There is so much to like about this game. Bobby McMahon in on the action. Lorentz winning puck battles all over the ice. He is such a dynamic player in his role, and what he brings to that fourth line, so much energy and so much juice. Great signing by the Leafs that they were able to get this guy in a PTO and obviously sign him to a contract. Yeah. No brainer. He looks fantastic as well. So obviously game 2 of the season, but we saw it last night too. I think he was the best skater on the ice. Lorentz was last night. So heading into this game, he has the juice, and he plays exactly like a fourth liner should play. He's going all out every shift because he's only playing maybe 10 minutes a night, right? That's what I want to see from these guys who are playing the bottom 6. So I love every moment of Steven Lorentz's game. Awesome.
I loved every moment of this game in general. I mean, we also saw the Matthew Knies hit. We saw everything. Mo saying after the Jays season, it cannot go worse. It starts with believing. I mean, I'm believing. I was the optimist yesterday after the loss. I know a lot of people were a bit upset about it. We deserved to win that game too. Like, obviously, some goals didn't fall here. But you mentioned it here, and there's a few things, obviously. I mean, there's a million things to touch on, so we obviously got to go one at a time. I mean, Connor Timmins also got on the board. Thank you, Marquise. You guys are on top.
Another penalty for Connor Timmins as well, so that could become an issue too. But Liljegren, that's an issue Liljegren had. So, I mean, if they're just swapping them out, I guess, somebody's got to take the penalties.
Lorentz has been, I mean, I messaged, and we've been talking about this if you've been tuning into the videos a ton, but I've been talking about this to you, Darius, off camera. I mean, that fourth line of Bobby McMahon, Steven Lorentz, and David Kampf is like, that's a fourth line that goes up with any of the fourth lines in the NHL. And you're looking at the third and fourth line now. The Leafs are now 1-1. Obviously, they lost yesterday's game with their top 6, aside from a couple guys, really their top 6 though, playing really, really poorly. And ultimately, you cannot ask for much more. I maybe suspect a potential. It might be a bit too early. They might shake up some in the top 2 lines there. Maybe move Domi around. We've been an advocate of that for a while, but Pacioretty got on the board. I mean, the fourth line is great. The third line is looking very good. Matthew Knies is one of the. I still think he had a great game yesterday. I think he had a very solid game today. Obviously, the hit's gonna take part of it. And again, we'll get into the defenseman in a second here. But how are we feeling in the chat? This is most optimistic I've been in a very long time for any Leafs team. And Reeves was the healthy scratch tonight. And Dennis Hildeby, I mean, you could not have asked for a better game from him. Obviously, I mean, a shutout and stuff like that would have been good, but second night of a back-to-back, he didn't think he was even going to play, I would say, about a week ago because of Joseph Woll. And now here he is, stopped 23 shots on 25. And the Devils are a very, very good team. A lot of people have them as cup favorites, making it to the cup, making it deep in the playoffs. They started the season 2-0, granted, against the Buffalo Sabres in the back-to-back. And the Sheldon Keefe thing, too. Just so many things here. They took care of business, and it was a statement win. I mean, quite frankly, there's no other way about it.
No, and Hildeby, I mean, he played fantastic, and we know what he can do. I think they're just trying to shelter him a little bit longer, and he will go down to the Marlies, obviously, when Woll comes back. But he's a great goaltender. I think he would only want that second goal back tonight, right? Like anything else, he made a couple big saves. His lateral movement's great. I mean, he's a great goalie, and it was nice to see him come in and then give him some support, a 3-goal lead right off the bat, right? That's something we haven't seen in the past either. So he played a fantastic game. I've been a big believer in Hildeby for a long time now, and I think that eventually he will be the guy. It's not going to be this season, and they have, a plan in place, obviously, for him to be sheltered, go down to the Marlies, feel good about himself, gain that confidence. And he will do that once Wool comes back. But
oh, we have another super
yep.
chat. Nathan Gamer, I saw you message earlier. Think the Leafs should trade Lily for Zegras. Now, we'll in a dream world, definitely the Liljegren thing is going to be heating up, and I do think that he is going to probably be on the trade block, especially with how Connor Timmins played tonight. He didn't have a phenomenal game, but a bit better than yesterday's game for sure, and I'll be the first one to say it. I was on his butt yesterday about having a horrible game. He had a better game tonight. Still wasn't great. Penalties are an issue. But thank you so much, Leafs. Love these post-game live chats. Marshall, almost every game. This is going to be the place to be. This is going to be the place to be. And I also have a special surprise. If you were here yesterday, you saw it. Mo, since you're in here, I'm actually glad you're in here, Mo. I know, Shane, you missed it yesterday as well. Darius, we're also going to talk about OEL as well. He had a very good game.
We're going to talk about, I want to talk about every single defenseman. We're going to get to it. There's a lot to get to.
I'm just going to quickly shout out my custom hat for every Leafs win. I have a custom, and for Jose. Jose had a great time. This hat is massive, just so you guys know. So if you guys like the hat, I'll wear it for every Leafs win. I was thinking it. Well,
so that hat actually makes Nick as tall as Dennis Hildeby.
Yep.
Just a fun fact. So it's a really tall hat.
Jose, great job. Please all around. Thank you, Jose. You're a huge supporter as well. I'm glad you're able to tune in. But how are we feeling about the hat? I mean, I think it's a massive hat. Leafs Digest logo.
It's really stylish, and it's custom.
Yep, every win I'll wear my custom top hat. Anyways, back to the I'll wear it for a little bit here. I got a haircut today, so I don't want to ruin my hair too much, but it's a custom top hat here. Mo with the 20, love the hat. I think it's a phenomenal hat. Mo, I'm glad you're back. I hope you're doing well with everything. I know I shot you a text there a while ago. I actually meant to send you another one a couple weeks ago, but I got a new phone, so things are being weird. Thank you so much, Mo. Love the hat. Nick C, young to know Buff Bagwell is. I did get a comment yesterday about Buff Bagwell.
Somebody did mention Buff Bagwell last night. That's right. And WCW legend for sure. So yes, that is very.
It's out of the frame, similar. But just so we know, it's like, just so you guys know, custom made.
Very similar, yeah.
But yeah, back to the game. Hope you guys like the hat. Bottom two lines are carrying. Let's touch on OEL a little bit. I know someone in the chat asked. Thank you again so much to Jose and Mo. Your guys' support has been unbelievable.
Absolutely.
We're going to be going live every single stream, almost every game. There'll be some times where we can't, but one of us will be here most of the time. Love the hat. Thank you. It
is phenomenal.
It is. I mean, it's some custom
just
work.
Custom.
There. Yep. OEL.
It is fantastic. OEL is a great. We talked about it during the summer. Great pickup for the Leafs. Another shooting threat from the point that's not Morgan Riley. And the last couple of years, Morgan Riley, he doesn't really have a great shot from the point. It gets through sometimes, and he scored in the playoffs, a couple of times in that series against Tampa a couple of years ago. But yeah, OEL, another shooting threat. He's just smart. His poise with the puck, like he's won the Stanley Cup. Obviously, he's played in meaningful games. You can kind of see it this year. He played great tonight, and I saw a lot of people kind of dumping on him last night in the preseason. I give him time. Like you're going to see why they brought this guy in. He's a great pickup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you saw it tonight. And again, it's not going to show up, in droves in the, the stat sheet or anything like that, or in the box score, but he was fantastic tonight again. And I thought he was pretty good last night too, but it's just his patience with the puck. And obviously the fact that there's another shooting threat on the point, and he gets the pucks through. That's something like I haven't seen with the Leafs in a long time, like a couple of years now. So he's getting them through to the net.
Nathan, someone asked, how do I join as a member? Right next to the subscribe button, there is a join button, and then you get a bunch of emotes, some other custom perks as well. Shane or Mo can throw the emotes in the chat. We have a ton more coming. A Steven Lorentz emote incoming. All these emotes. Also, I just realized this for the stream. I'm going to put my top hat here for every stream because I might be able to wear that the whole time, so you can see the hat. And every time we get a donation or something, I'll put the hat on for a little bit. That's probably the best way to do it because that's going to kill my head because it gave me a massive headache yesterday.
You can also see it from space when it's on your head. So
yeah, so you can see it here, and then if every donation or something like that, I'll put it on for a little bit. Nick, do you and Peter have a friendly rivalry during NHL season with him being a Habs supporter? Yeah, off camera we definitely do, but Mo, I don't know if you saw yesterday's stream. My brother is actually a huge Habs supporter. He's a Habs fan. We had a co-stream yesterday, so that's an interesting watch. But
yeah,
Leafs fan over here. Got my Nylander jersey, Matthews jersey, and the massive custom top hat. Took me some time. It took me some time to get there, but
arts and crafts.
I also have some glasses to go with it. But we're gonna save those for a special occasion.
Those are the top stats reading glasses.
These are the Leafs Digest glasses. So
that's right.
I'm saving them though. I'm saving them for a very special occasion to go with the top hat. Yeah, Mo, my brother's a Leafs fan or Habs fan. He runs Habs Digest. We co-streamed with them yesterday, but it's Lawrence, your stat sheet is on defense. Yeah, it's not us. That's ESPN for whatever reason.
That's the ESPN box score.
They don't give it. Mo, we're on the same page then. Our brothers support that. Household split for me. The household is split for me. What what did I look too funny? Yeah, it doesn't. It looks ridiculous. I mean, but that's exactly what we're here for. But yeah, OEL on his front. I mean, at this point, like, I love it. I mean, the breakaway yesterday was a bit of a bitter start.
One of the worst breakaways of all time, actually. All time.
But he tries to fight people. He gets in the way the Leafs play. You mentioned the forecheck. The way the Leafs are playing these games brings a smile to my face. And what also brought a smile to my face was when they were, every time the Leafs would score a goal, they'd zoom in on Sheldon Keefe just swearing at the team. And again, Sheldon Keefe had some very nice comments to say about the Toronto Maple Leafs organization before the game. So he is a pure class. He's always been pure class, all the way dating back to when he got fired. But bring on the Craig Berube. And I'm giving a huge shout out here to Brad for living an absolute masterclass so far. We're only 2 games in. Robert with the donation. If the Leafs win the cup, you have to get it autographed by all the Leafs. That would be a phenomenal idea. And I'm going to put on the hat for you. So Darius, take over.
Yep. Thank you again, Robert. If the Leafs win the cup, I will get that signed by every single Leaf.
All right, we got a donation, so the hat is on. The hat will be on for a little bit. This is so ridiculous. That's a great idea. I mean, we would have to. We'd have to go we'd have to tweet at the Leafs or something, and I could ship the hat off to them. But this is a prestigious
we could get
hat.
It done. We could get it. I mean, that hat is. I mean, come on.
It is.
There's no way they wouldn't sign that hat.
It is gigantic. But yeah, shout out to Robert. I'll wear the hat now for a little bit. But yeah, I'm loving the pressure on the PK. I'm loving the forecheck. I'm loving every single thing about it. They're playing aggressive. I mean, I haven't felt this way in a while. And the thing is, we mentioned it. The regular seasons matter now. Now, not only they matter to get in the playoffs, but seeing the change of structure is something that I never thought was gonna happen, and it finally did it. And Darius, I'll let you take over in a second, but another donation. If the Leafs are trading Lily, get a Marchment.
Mason Marchment.
Yeah. We're gonna be having more videos on the Liljegren stuff. We had a video on it today. We're gonna have more coming. But yeah, thank you so much, Nathan, for the donation. And Mo, we're gonna be going live more than we ever have. Like, obviously, I know you're familiar with the Jays, more than we have on Jays, more than we ever have on Leafs. Now we're gonna be going live multiple times a week. We usually had our Wednesday stream, almost every single game, especially if the Leafs are gonna keep playing it like this way, because I couldn't wait to get on and talk about it. So thank you so much for the donation, Emma. We're gonna be going live. Hopefully, I can see you in here if you want to tune in whenever you can, live multiple times a week. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're gonna dive more into the Liljegren thing over the next couple of days, because it's crunch time.
Oh my god. Okay. These guys don't give me a headache with this hat. Tim, put on the glasses.
Gotta put on these glasses, Nick.
No, Tim.
They're the stat reading glasses. Maybe it's time to read out some stats from the game, Nick.
Okay.
Might have to put on your reading glasses here to read them out.
All right. I was gonna save the glasses for a big milestone. However, I do have some other things. I have some other.
I also have a hat I can bust out that I busted out during the playoffs, but we have some new viewers. So.
I have some other things, some interesting gadgets, knickknacks to come out. But for this stream, I will put on the glasses for you. Tim, you did donate $10, and
thank you, Tim.
These are the certified. If you're here, you were here for it first. Also, hit the like button if you like the hat. Gigantic hat. I'm doing it. Mo shows up in the donos. Follow the Leafs. The hat is, maybe this is the secret thing. So anytime in post games when the Leafs win, and we want to really take a good look at the stats. These are the Leafs Digest certified stats glasses. That's all. That's all it is.
So now.
Oh my God!
Who really impressed you? If you no, they look great. I mean, those are your Leafs Digest.
So what these do?
Stats reading glasses.
These give me the ability now to really dive into these stats. Now, what this means is when these glasses are on, Darius, I'm going to ask you the question, everybody. Realistically, though, the player of the game. That's what these are going to. This is what these glasses mean. So, type in the chat your player of the game. I mean, we should all have the same player of the game, I think, right?
I don't know. It might be different. I'm curious to see some answers, because I think people watch the game. A lot of people watch the game differently for different reasons, right? So, and they're watching different players. So,
I'm gonna go with Steven Lorentz, and it's not even close for me. We've been, actually, there's some other players. Max Pacioretty, okay game. Steven Lorentz wins it for me, and I mean, what a great game for him. Also, if we like the glasses, do they look as weird? Anyways, doesn't matter.
You look great, Nick.
Thank you.
For the second game in a row, it's Steven Lorentz, I think, in terms of skaters, because obviously last night I would say Anthony Stolarz, but Hildeby is a close second too. So for the second game in a row, it's the goaltender and Steven Lorentz, which if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, you won tonight. That's great. And you probably should have won last night, but cause for concern. Maybe we got to get into the top 6, I think, at some point in this stream, but maybe cause for concern. But Hildeby was it's so true from Hurt Locker, calming presence, such a calming presence in net. So again, I could give it to him. I could give it to Lorentz. Both of them played fantastic. I think they were both really good.
I wish you'd change the color of the cape for the super chat. The cape.
Yeah, it's red. It's a Superman cape on Austin Matthews.
I know.
Yeah.
We can change that. I can also paint this, but that's red. We keep that up there.
That's for goals.
Yeah,
lighting it up.
I think actually that's a good idea too, Leafs Nation. 3 stars of the night. That's another segment we can add. Again, we're gonna be going live after every game, so there's a bunch of stuff. We're still working on the final details, but I think the glasses I kind of like them actually. They're kind of helping my eyes.
Just to rifle off of 3 stars, I think that could be something that we could do in the future. Actually, that's we'll do that every game. We'll do that every game. That's a good idea. But
shout out
if we're gonna do it.
Nation.
Yeah, shout out. If we're gonna do it tonight, I would probably give it to, again, like we mentioned, Steven Lorentz.
First star. Second star.
Hildeby second star.
Question is the third star.
Personally, myself, I would give it to Chris Tanev. He makes such a difference out there defensively. He does the things that nobody notices that really affect the flow of the game for the Leafs. So I would give it to Chris Tanev, number 3.
Nathan Gamer, you think the Leafs are gonna get the Marner extension done? No.
Oof. That's aren't we going to be talking about that all year?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat, Nathan. You guys are crushing it right now. Did not expect these glasses to be brought out. Did not expect the glasses to be brought out this early. Mo, you come and the glasses are brought out. So
this is what happens.
Take your screenshots.
Well, this is going to be on the channel. You can go back and watch it tomorrow as well.
Some crazy glare on these. Actually, I need to get some anti-glare. Anyways.
That's because you really get a good glimpse of the stats there.
It's better for me. Yeah, really good glimpse of stats. McMahon, third star, coming in cold and scoring. I like that a lot. I think I would also give it to McMahon.
That's fair. Yeah, Patches as well. That's a good. Yep, I like that.
I could give it to Patches. Nicholas, Elton John. I'll take that.
Elton John with the glasses. I like
it. I look like a magician. I need a wand or a cane. At least digest cane, perhaps. You're going to have to tune in to these post games. I have more stuff. Listen, the Halloween store is open. It's the Halloween store is open, so it's the time.
Tis the season, yeah. That's right.
Leafs still suck. Well, we'll take a win. A win's a win at this point in time.
A win is a win at this point in the season.
So yeah,
at any point in the season.
We can do the 3 stars of the game going forward. We'll get an animation done up for it. Also, if we can get to 50 likes this stream, that would be great. We're again going live.
Yeah, you guys are crushing it.
Our goal is to boys, I got to mention it. Thoughts on the power play, it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts. Yeah, it's terrible. The thing is, I don't know if it's the system that Mark Savard has implemented so far, as much as I don't know if it's that or if they need to split up the groups, like have Nylander. Just an example. I'm not saying him specifically. Like Nylander on the second unit, like Robertson maybe on the first unit. I don't know. He's playing great, but just change it up a little bit, split it up, do something else. And the first power play unit, nobody moves. I don't know what's up with that. And sometimes somebody goes to the front of the net. Maybe it's Tavares, but nobody moves for each other. There's no cycle. There's no movement. They just pass, and the other team knows exactly where that they're going to pass it to. And penalty kills are getting more and more aggressive every year. A lot of teams are implementing that. The Leafs have implemented it this year. It looks fantastic so far, by the way. I think Mitch Marner hasn't looked great offensively, has looked good defensively. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to earn him the contract that he wants, but we'll get to that as well.
I think it is time to put OEL in the top pair.
I've been saying this since the summer as well. Yeah. We've been talking about it on the channel, and I totally agree, Nick.
Hindsight, baby. Hindsight.
They have no shooting threat on the point right now in the first power play unit. They just don't. And OEL could add that. Then you also have Matthews. So if other teams are like, all right, OEL might shoot, Matthews might shoot, Robertson's over there as well. Just mix it up a little bit. And then you got the second unit coming out. Maybe it has Nylander on it. He's a shooting threat. You have Pacioretty out there. He can shoot the puck. Maybe Pacioretty in front of the net on power play 1. There's a lot of things that they can do. There's a lot that they can play with. And for some reason, power play 1 is the same as last year. I don't understand that so far through 2 games.
However, it is 2 games. So let's overreact to the good things and then underreact to the bad things. That's how we should do it. Craig Berube spoke out about the Leafs going 0-4 on the power play last night and gave an interesting response. Not direct enough, a little outside for me. We didn't look to attack right away, get shots, and get pucks to the net. We were moving it around the outside too much. I don't want to call it too cute, but we have to be more direct. Harry Potter, yeah, I mean, you could definitely make a case that I look like him, but again, the hat is too big; it's getting cut off. He said what he said is true, and this was obviously before tonight's game. It didn't look that much better in tonight's game, but I'm kind of taking the positive side of it and saying that Steven Lorentz, they got him, they snagged him from the Florida Panthers, and he was, I believe, I think his season total last year for the Panthers was
Oh, in the regular season, yeah.
in the
I
regular
think he's
season.
almost eclipsed it already.
He's
Yeah,
almost he's like halfway or 60% there. So I mean, talk about a masterclass. The glasses will now go off until further notice. So we've done our 3 stars of the game.
nice.
As will the top.
Lorentz, to get back to that quickly, the goal he scored, he won the puck battle on the boards, frees it up for, I believe it was Kampf. I don't remember who wrapped it around there. Frees it up for him, creates that chance, and then he just gets the puck to the net. Like a lot of these guys just want to take the perfect shot and shoot it on the forehand. He just swatted at it on the backhand and went in. This is the type of stuff that they got to start doing, the ugly stuff, right? And it's going to make a difference when it matters in the playoffs. So it's not pretty, but I don't care if the Leafs play a pretty style of play anymore. You got to win when it matters. And it does start in the regular season. I want to see some of this turning. And I have in the last 2 games, some of it, but that top 6 has got to get going.
Nathan with another $6.99 just as I put the hat and glasses away. I think the Leafs are a cup contender, but need a better D-man than Jake McCabe. What are you guys' thoughts? Get a guy other than Jake McCabe.
Jake Muzzin. Get a guy like Jake Muzzin.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on McCabe, actually, Nick?
I know you were a big hater.
Big fan.
Not hater.
I like McCabe.
Yeah,
McCabe.
but yesterday's game I'm talking about.
Sure. Yeah, he wasn't great. The last 2 games.
I think he was. He hasn't been great either game. Yeah. I have faith in him though. I think they'll be fine. He has to get used to playing with very good defensemen again, which is something that he hasn't done in a while. I think Jake McCabe will be fine. I think they're going to work out an extension. Maybe that's distracting him a little bit. He did lead all defensemen tonight with time on ice. He led all Leafs players tonight with time on ice. He got an assist, so it wasn't a great game defensively, but he was a part of the. Obviously, he got an assist and he was battling out there. So I don't think adding a defenseman at this point is honestly. I think that's probably not on their priority list. I think their priority list right now is, I don't know. I mean, trading Timothy Liljegren, I guess, but yeah,
a trade. First of all, it doesn't matter if it's Liljegren or not, but it's a trade before November 1st. Yeah. That's for sure. In terms of Jake McCabe, I like Jake McCabe, and he brings something that not a lot of the Leafs have had the last couple of years, which is like that jam and the physicality when in the tough areas and in the corners and stuff like that. I think he's really good at that. But the major change to this year, I think he's playing with OEL, right? So OEL carries the puck a lot more than Simone Benoit did. Simone Benoit, by the way, might be one of the worst puck carrying defensemen I've ever seen at the NHL level. And that's fine because he does what he does well, really good. So that's fine. But he's not a great puck mover. But last year, McCabe was relied upon to do that. This year, not so much. So he's probably just getting used to that. He hasn't looked good in the first 2 games. He hasn't. But again, he played a lot tonight, and he looked pretty decent tonight. Not what I'm used to from Jake McCabe, but I think you can win a Stanley Cup with a player like that. And I think a lot of people forget that, not everyone has top pairing defensemen throughout their pairings who win the Stanley Cup. You have guys that just fill roles. And I think you can win a Stanley Cup with a guy like Benoit. You can win a Stanley Cup with a guy like McCabe on your defensive pairing, as long as everyone's playing their roles and everyone feeds off of each other. Right. So the dynamics got to be right. And I think a lot of guys are still getting used to it. It's only game 2 and they're playing a different style. It's working. The forecheck looks a lot better. The defensive circle backs and them chipping it back to their defensive partner instead of throwing this long bomb up the ice and praying is way better to watch. They're actually taking care of the puck a little bit more. It's crazy. So nice to see so far, at least through 2 games, but a lot of stuff to iron out still.
Yeah, he looks lights out like Leaf Nation. I mean, he's looked. We have back-to-back donos. Okay, I'm gonna start with Jose. We know the 4th line can score. We know now we need the 1st line to score. I completely agree with that. I mean, if the 1st line able to get. We're winning games against good teams now. I win against a good team with the 1st and 2nd line not scoring. Something we didn't see too much last year because of the lack of, whether you want to call it play style or just natural ability. Like, the lines are much deeper this year. Thank you so much for the donation, Jose. You're a big supporter. Robert Bet with the 20. If Lily does get traded, do you think they get draft picks to move for Yanni Hakanpää when he gets healthy and have him and Timmins play alternate? Do you think he's worth a 1st or a 2nd, or does his $3 million hit hamper that? It's a great question. Obviously, Yanni Hakanpää is someone that gets lost in the scuffle sometimes.
Yeah,
I think that Liljegren is probably worth a 3rd or a 4th max. I don't think he's going to be worth a 1st or a 2nd because of what you mentioned, Robert, the cap hit there. It is a very high amount. I think he's worth around a 3rd or a 4th. And I also think that once Hakanpää comes back, he will probably rotate with whoever is the 6th defenseman at the time.
So either Connor Timmins or Myers at this point, because when they trade Timothy Liljegren, because it's not if they're going to trade him, it's when at this point, because they're going to have to make a move before November 1st when these guys come off the LTIR, like Hakanpää, like Connor Dewar, and it's going to be Timothy Liljegren. He makes too much money. At this point, he's been pushed so far down the depth chart that Connor Timmins is taking his spot, and Connor Timmins only makes just over $1 million. Timothy Liljegren can't be sitting in the press box for his career. The Toronto Maple Leafs can't have $3 million a year sitting in the press box every game. So he's lost his spot at this point in time, and I don't think he can work his way back into it because he's fighting for two guys that Craig Berube likes better than him.
Thank you again, Robert.
Yes, thank you, Robert. I just don't think it's going to happen for Timothy Liljegren on this team anymore. He can't make the simple plays. He overcomplicates everything. We talked about it in our video this morning. He overcomplicates everything, and that's been the story of the Leafs last couple of years. Every play, for some reason, there has to be some scheme behind it. Like it's so overly complicated. He literally cannot do the simple things. We see it in his game, and I think a lot of teams want a player like him because he can do a lot of things really effectively, and he can be a really good two-way defenseman in this league. If he played regularly, but he's not going to do it with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they're not going to get a roster player back from him. It's going to be draft picks. So, but there's going to be a team that wants him. There's going to be a team that wants a player like that. There's a lot of teams that could use a player like that. But the way the Leafs are built right now, they don't need him. I think that they like Connor Timmins at this point in time, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying I agree with it. They like him more than Liljegren right now. And Connor Timmins, like, yes, he took a bad penalty tonight and he doesn't look great, but he hasn't played a lot of NHL hockey over the last couple of years either. So he's got to get back into, his rhythm, but he's trying to play the system. You can see him out there. Like he's trying to be physical and play Berube's system.
And I mean, that's the reason he got in the first place.
That's right. Yeah.
Playing his system.
And he's doing the simple things.
Yeah. And something Liljegren didn't do. The Leafs drafted Lily in the first round, so I think a high pick back. Very good point. But at this point, like, they can't really fall into the sunk cost fallacy because all the other teams aren't. So they're going to have to just, like, I don't think they should hold on to him because of the fact that they drafted him in the first round. I think you trade him now before his value goes down more because he's riding the pine. So the longer, especially when Hakanpää comes back, like the Leafs don't need him at this point. And I think Hakanpää is going to be a huge addition to that as well. But again, thank you so much, Jose and Robert, for the donations. And
thank you, guys.
It means, or I will put the hat back on, but my head hurts a little bit from it. But I mean, I will put it on if
it's a large hat.
I might put it on one more time, depending on what happens. One more time.
But yeah, Liljegren, I think at this point he's the odd man out. He's gone. I don't think they like him for this team anymore. The way the team is built, he just doesn't fit in, and they have to make a trade here.
They would have played him tonight because Timmins had a bad game yesterday. So if they wanted to see what they had in Timothy Liljegren, second night of a back-to-back, you have a bit of an excuse there to play him. They said, nope, not going to bother with that. And we also all thought that Anthony Stolarz was getting the nod tonight, according to David Alter, said that was the way they were leaning. Nope, they went with Dennis Hildeby, and great now because Anthony Stolarz is fully rested for the Penguins game against Kyle Dubas on Saturday, which is going to be a wild game in itself, another crazy one, and it's such an important win today for the morale of the team, for Brad Living after firing Sheldon Keefe. Like, yeah, it's just a game, it's just one game. I'm sure Sheldon Keefe's not tweaking about losing it, but important that they got the win, but more importantly, they played winning hockey, which is something that even during the regular season last year, you could argue that they weren't really playing. They were playing winning hockey, but in a different manner.
It looks cool. Like the type of hockey that they played the last couple of years, it looks nice. Like it's fun to watch, but it's like when the going gets tough, it's not going to win you hockey games. And we kept seeing it time after time, right? Like it won them that one series where they dug in a little bit. A couple of the goals were a little messy, but for the most part, it's not going to win you games, right? And if they take a step back in the regular season a little bit, I mean, that's fine as long as you're winning in the playoffs. You have to create better habits. And I think it's starting because a lot of what I saw tonight was really encouraging, especially on the second half of the back-to-back. There's been so many excuses in past years.
Yeah, second half of the back-to-back. Forget that a little bit.
Right. Like there's so much in this game, and they never really got up for games that, that there was something to get up for. Like you're playing against Sheldon Keefe, your former coach. I feel like in previous years they would just fold in situations like this, and he came out and played a really good game.
We do have a donation from Marquise. No doubt, Marner's a very talented player, but he plays small, not Berube's game. It's a valid point. He's playing better on the defensive end, so Berube's getting more out of him than I saw Keefe get out of him last year, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Thank you so much, Marquise. Nathan, I think they should give up on Kempf and Dewar. I think Kempf's having an okay start. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Connor Dewar once he comes back. I mean, there's so many guys here. You have Yanni Hakanpää. Yeah, you guys are all legends. This has been a crazy stream, and again, we're going to be doing it every single, and not just wins for what it's worth. We're going to be doing it as many games as we can because the losses are going to happen. Obviously, it won't be, people might not be as hyped, but we're gonna be here with you throughout the losses and the wins. So you're gonna want this will be the place to be. This is it's gonna be the spot to be. But yeah, Hakanpää is gonna be interesting. Dewar coming back is gonna be interesting. There's so many storylines this year, and you mentioned how regular season has sometimes kind of felt monotonous watching it under Sheldon Keefe. Especially this season, every single game matters simply because they're trying to figure out how to play under Craig Berube, and they need to play playoff hockey. So even as a fan watching, every single game matters to see the differences they're doing. And because, I mean, at this point, there's a lot of, I feel like more than usual, obviously there's always intertwining storylines with the Leafs here. Yeah. There's a lot of intertwining storylines with the Leafs this year. So I'm all in on this team, and I'm very happy. I'm a happy guy. I
like the changes so far. I do. And I was happy even in the loss last night because they only gave up 1 goal. They only lost 1-0.
I was gonna say 3 goals through 2 games. Pretty good.
It's okay, right? And you won this second game here, and they're playing the right way for the most part. And the top 6, hasn't been there yet, but you'd imagine they would figure it out. And Austin Matthews hit another post tonight, right? So they're eventually going to figure it out, but the signs are there. I mean, I like this. I like the way that they're playing better, but there's a lot going on. Like somebody mentioned, I'm trying to find it here. Nathan, that they should give up on Kampf and Dewar. They only really have to make 1 trade if it's Liljegren, because you have $3 million going out the door. So you can keep a couple guys as reserves because you're going to have back-to-backs. You're going to
not overreact early.
You're going to have injuries. Like, I would keep a couple of these guys around if you can free up the salary cap, because, I didn't think Liljegren was going to fall this far down the depth chart just like a week ago, right? And now it's very apparent that they're not a big fan of this player. And if you move $3 million out, then you have some room to keep a couple guys as insurance if there's injuries or whatever. If you need, if you want to play somebody else, like tonight, like Reeves didn't play and you had McMahon come in. So things like that, they're keeping some space open, which is good. But I wouldn't overreact in the first 10 games to anything, but you do have to look at certain things and be like, all right, they're playing better in these areas, right? But anything within the first 10 games, like especially roster, like the team is going to look so different in April, right? We know this. So
thank you again for the donations, guys. Tim saying David also just posted that Hildeby greeted with cheers when he came to the locker room. I mean, yeah, his first NHL start, his first NHL win. Yeah. Like, vibes are at an all-time high right now for the start of the season. 2 games in, obviously, but yeah, I mean, it's very excited. And again, it's still early. First 10 games are going to be interesting. Someone wanted to give a shout out to Chief, aka Craig Berube, for the on-ice time management, which is something that you can see it right here. Very spread out. No one played too many minutes. Again, it's something that's hard to do on the second night of a back-to-back is, of course, manage everybody. You don't want to burn them out too early, which is why they gave Hildeby the start. But, I mean, even guys like Connor Timmins logging 15 minutes. Steven Lorentz put up 2 points in 15 minutes. Talk about efficiency. Pacioretty had less than 10 minutes. Most of that, he's old in the scheme of NHL hockey. He's aging. Like, his body has a lot of wear and tear. I'm not saying he's old in like a negative way. He's aging a little bit. He's towards the end of his career. They have to balance him. I saw some rumors about him not even playing. So having him under 10 minutes, huge for Saturday. Having all these guys, Mo saying, all right, guys, wishing you wonderful leaving. Looking forward to this season.
Thank you, Mo.
Mo, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hopefully you can catch all the other ones. We'll be here every single game as much as we can. So thank you again, Mo. We'll
try to do every game.
We'll try to do it for you all. But yeah, I mean, the line, it was great. I mean, the minutes were phenomenal, especially for a guy like Pacioretty.
Lorentz getting 2 points there, like you mentioned, in 15 minutes. A lot of those 15 minutes was on the penalty kill, and he looks good on the penalty kill too. Like, that's something we were talking about coming into the season. So one thing I wanted to mention as well is somebody mentioned, how about trading Dewar, Timmins, and Yarncroke? And to that I say, instead of trading 3 people, why wouldn't you just trade 1 person and free up the same amount of salary space-ish, right? So I'm thinking it's Timothy Liljegren to free up as much space as possible so they can keep as many guys as possible.
We're also 7 likes away from 50. If you guys could do that, thank you.
Yeah. From Leafs Nation, who has been the best pickup, Nick, so far this year? I know your answer, and my answer will be different, but I think the realistic. Okay, so I'm gonna have there's layers here. There's no realistic answer. What do you feel? What is your feeling here?
I'm gonna so far through the 2 games, I think it's undoubtedly been Steven Lorentz. I think that Pacioretty's been good, but when you ask me the question of who I think is gonna be the best pickup in general, based on what I've seen, it's undoubtedly for me, OEL.
Interesting. A little bit, I wouldn't say off the board, actually, because there's only a few pickups. But
I think by the end of the year, he's going to be one of the better, because he had a great year last year. People said, you're buying high and all these things. He's not going to be that great. He had a couple of great years up and down. For me, I mean, he's looking really good. Exactly what the Leafs needed. But Lorentz has to be for the first, if we're just talking about the first couple games, even though OEL has been phenomenal.
Yeah, what Lorentz brings, and I'm not picking Lorentz for the record, but just to make it different because everyone's picking Lorentz, but Lorentz, what he brings to the fourth line is exactly what they've been needing, and that's identity and that juice. But he just plays so hard, and you can because you're not playing a lot that night, right? Because you're on the fourth line. So he plays so hard, and he brings something to that fourth line that has been missing, and that heavy style of play. So I love that. He's been a big difference maker, even in a small role, but he plays that role so well. For me, it's going to be, and we haven't seen the best of it yet. I'm telling you, we have not seen the best of it yet. It's got to be Chris Tanev, right? Because for me, he's going to unlock Morgan Riley this year. We haven't seen it yet. It's only been 2 games. And a lot of what he does in terms of breaking up plays and breaking the puck out, the Leafs, when he's on the ice, don't spend a lot of time in their defensive zone if he can help it, right? Because the way he breaks the puck out, he's fantastic. So it's going to be Chris Tanev for me, but I just don't think we've seen the best of it yet. So a lot of people will be like, whoa, so far it's definitely Stolarz. It's definitely Lorentz right now. And I would agree with those picks, but at this point in time, at least. But I think over the course of the season, we're all going to see how big Chris Tanev is going to be for this team. You would hope. You would hope. But
yeah.
So far, I think he's made some big plays.
Just noticed this base bar is the free agency one. That'll be fixed. I know this one here has the game one. So
those are the actual stats. Yeah.
Yeah, the stats are below us, but that'll be fixed for the stream.
Hope everyone likes the. Oh, Robert back at it again.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thought Marner did not have a good game tonight. He needs to shoot more. He seems to be looking for Matthews. You can't keep doing that, but it's nice to see the core 4 hitting. Are we ahead of Habs Digest yet? No, but we are. It's crazy. We're not ahead of Habs Digest yet, but we're on their tails. We're on their tails. We're less than 2,000 away, so we're going for it. Robert, your support has been unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Again, we're getting there. But yeah, I agree. Marner hasn't looked great. I feel like everybody in the top 6 are being a bit passive, really looking for Austin to shoot the puck and all these things. He had 6 shots on goal, I believe, in yesterday's game. But I don't know. I think they'll find it. I'm not worried about that. I'm more so intrigued about why they haven't produced. But I mean, easily a world yesterday where they had 2 or 3 goals, the top 6.
Yeah, and he could have had one yesterday, and Matthews probably should have had one yesterday, and Matthews should have had one today. Marner probably should have had an assist today, but it's not falling for them yet. And it looks like he's fighting it a little bit offensively. Again, defensively, he's looked pretty good, right? So he's fighting it offensively, and I think it's eventually going to come. So I'm not too worried about that yet. And again, it's a contract year, and he put a lot of work into this summer. So it's the first 2 games. I think he's going to get going, but yeah, he's fighting it a bit on offense and maybe looking for Matthews too much. And a lot of guys were a victim of that at the end of last season too. But yeah, he's got to get away from that a little bit, I think. But Berube is a good answer for that too.
Yeah, it's a sneaky good answer. Berube would be. I mean,
he's just not a player.
Obviously, like they lost. We say that now, and 24 hours ago, the sentiment was Sheldon Keefe didn't get shut out in the 200+ games, whatever. But I think we were both saying even in the loss, like Berube, he handled things very well. They're more defensive minded. They're forechecking more. They're actually hustling more. They're actually going for the pucks. It's a great concept. They're fighting for pucks. Even Matthew Nyes has continued to do that. He's using his body, and one of the biggest things for him was if he uses his body, he can be a top liner in this league. That was last year, even year before when he's a prospect and all those things. Now, I mean, he's preparing himself. He's been playing the top line well. He logged 15 minutes tonight, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'll take it. The pace is up. The pace was up yesterday. The pace is up today. And aside from that first period against the Montreal Canadiens yesterday, the Maple Leafs have outplayed their opponent, I think, in every single period.
Now, I just saw a stat, and we have 142 people in here right now, and thank you very much. And we just hit 50 likes, so thank you so much, everyone who's watching, for that. And I just saw a stat on Twitter right now that kind of blows your mind a little bit, but I'm going to tell you why it's a good thing. This is the first time ever in this era since 2016 that through the first 2 games, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and Austin Matthews have started the season without a point in the first 2 games, okay? And I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing, because I'm going to go back to Ryan O'Reilly. When he left the Leafs, he could have re-signed for the same amount that he signed in Nashville for. The reason he left is because he said there's too much of an emphasis on the core 4 here, right? They rely too heavily on 4 guys, and it's not about the team. And the thing we keep seeing, if you watch the Face Off documentary on Amazon Prime with all the behind the scenes of the NHL, the theme with the Florida Panthers and teams who've won the Stanley Cup in the past, and even the Edmonton Oilers, is we are a team. It doesn't matter if you have the best player in the world on your team. We are a team. Everybody has a role and has to play their role. I think that's a good thing, because the style of play, they won tonight. They should have probably won last night. And the style of play that they're playing, yes, these guys aren't scoring, but it might end up better in the playoffs, right? And it's better for me to watch, at least. Maybe other people like to see, a lot of nifty passing plays on the blue line that they were doing last year and the years previous. But to me, it's a lot more fun to watch because they're hungrier on pucks and they're checking harder. And more aggressive. So I think it's actually, I'm not saying it's a good thing. They need to get on the score sheet in the next game for sure. But I think it's a good thing because there might be less emphasis put on these guys and more on the team and certain roles. And I think that's a good thing heading forward. That's a good sign to me through the first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like the fourth and third line carried today, and the guys are going to bring in. You mentioned it, and someone we haven't mentioned at all was John Tavares, who also scored a goal after being pretty rough for the first 80 to 100 minutes of the season there. Him getting a goal is going to be big for, I mean, he doesn't need a confidence booster at this point of his career, but he looked solid. He looked solid tonight as well. So the guys are going to start picking up. Their pace, like Marquise mentioned, their pace is picked up. Everything seems, and it's the biggest thing here is even guys like Mitch Marner, who's not the prototypical Craig Berube player, they all have seemed to kind of buy in to the Craig Berube play style. Matthew Nye's bought in, even guys like David Camp, of course, Max Pacioretty. And it's working. Yep. And again, it's gonna take a lot more than just a couple of games for that to happen. And we're gonna have to see how it transitions and translates to an entire 82 game season. But I mean, they look good. They looked good yesterday. They look good now.
It's of course it's working though, because if you watch the last couple of teams who've won the Stanley Cup or teams that go deep in the playoffs, these are the things they do, right? So now that the Leafs have kind of switched to it, and again, it's only 2 games, but and a lot of people on the outside looking in, right? If you're not a Leafs fan, will make fun of that. It's only 2 games in. But as Leaf fans, we see every single game. We see every single play. They're playing differently through the first 2 games than they have. They absolutely are. And they're playing better. And I think that they can win more hockey games when it matters with this style of play. I mean, last year, I got really sick and tired personally of, and I'm going to get really tactical here, they would do this umbrella play at the blue line where you'd have like either the centerman or a winger in between the defenseman and kind of pass it around up there. And then they might get a shot out of it, but nobody's in front. Like it's just, that's never going to go in the NHL. It's never going to go in. And at this point now, they've kind of changed it to, somebody, they have a little bit more traffic in front. They got to get better at that, but they have more traffic in front and they're generating plays down low. Oh, I don't see anything. I'm kicking it down low instead of back to the point where mistakes can be made. So there's a lot of things that they've changed through the first 2 games so far this season that are way better and what winning teams do. And that's what Berube has brought. So I'm pretty excited about that so far. I'm not too worried about the guys. If they're winning games, it's about the Toronto Maple Leafs, not about if Auston Matthews hits 75 goals anymore. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to win a Stanley Cup. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I agree. I preach that, but I think that's a good point to probably any final thoughts before we wrap it up. It's getting late. It's a very good game. I'm very happy. I mean, one of the best, I'll go ahead and say it, probably the best stream we've had. Everybody's, tuning in. We're going to be going live every single day. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here, Darius? Anything from you? You guys on any Leafs games this year? Definitely. We'll definitely be going to, I'll be going to at least one. I'm going to have to plan it, but because I don't live.
I am actually going to one, and I will reveal that maybe on the next stream.
Tune in for that. I still have the hat there. I'll be wearing the hat next stream. Should, by all accounts, be Saturday. I should be there, Darius. I don't think you're going to be able to make that one.
I would say 50-50 right now. I'm going to try my best to make it. I would like to.
But if not,
I would like to be here.
You should see me bearing something coming up. You'll have a community post. And days where we're not going to be going live, we'll have a community post for you guys. But otherwise, every time you see the Toronto Maple Leafs play, prepare yourselves for the post games. We want to see every one of you in there. This was obviously, when we have everybody in here, it's been very fun. And hit the like button on your way out. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Any final thoughts from anybody in the chat, Darius? It's been a phenomenal stream. The Leafs won. They have an off day tomorrow. We'll have a video for you all tomorrow like usual. And then gearing up for Saturday. Very big game against Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins with Anthony Stolarz in all likelihood playing between the pipes here. But a phenomenal game, phenomenal night, and a phenomenal stream. So we can't ask for too much more for Leafs fans right now.
Yeah, a couple things just to wrap it up. Does it feel better that it came against Keefe? To me, no, because I just care about if the Toronto Maple Leafs win or not. But I could see how that would be nice for some people. I thought he was a good coach, but the message just didn't get through, and maybe some inexperience there too. But it doesn't really matter. I want the Toronto Maple Leafs to win. But thank you everyone for tuning into the stream. Obviously, getting 62 likes here. I saw it just jump up there a second ago. So thank you everybody for that, and everybody who donated. That was fantastic as well. And looking to the future, I think, especially Saturday, some of the top guys in the top 6 have to just, I don't think it's that they have to flip anybody or any positions around. They have to lock in. They have to buy in. This is the way it's going to be now. And if you want to join us for the ride, if you want to join the bottom 6 for the ride, if you want to join the fans, lock in. Some of the guys did not looking at Nylander tonight, even Mitch Marner offensively, Auston Matthews got to get going. They have to lock in. They have to get ready to go here for the next couple of games. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in and the donations.
Yeah, again, last thing I'll say, thank you guys so much, everybody. Robert, every single person, Nathan, Shane, Mo, everybody who donated, Marquise, everybody who tuned in. Thank you guys so much for all of that. Jose as well, of course, you're a longtime supporter. We'll be going live after every single game. So this is the place to be for post-game streams, and we're excited. So we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video and, of course, on Saturday. And again, have a safe night, everybody. And the Toronto Maple Leafs